Hey everyone, how is everyone doing on this Monday night? Monday, June, what is it? June 5th, 2023? I woke up late today. What happened was yesterday, which was Sunday, right? I had bought ticket to go to uh, the LPGA tour, right? LPGA Women's Golf, which was the final yesterday, final round, right? And it was right here in the Liberty golf course, actually here this way, right in my backyard. And so I told my wife that I was going to go there, see it at least for like an hour, maybe hour and a half, right? Uh, and so I went there yesterday, and I watched. Obviously, my wife was with me, virtually speaking, and it was called the what do you call? Mitsu, I think Mitsu or something. Mitsuhu, America's Open, right? Mitsuhu is a Japanese bank. There are a lot of Japanese people there, right? Spectators, and so I was there, and then I had a couple of Coors Lights, and then water, and then some chips, right? And so we watched basically. They were a group of three women, three players. And I think Rose Zhang was one of them. Rose Zhang is the winner. It's a freaking $2.75 million purse. So how much she took home? Huh? How much she took home? She probably took home, I don't know, at least like a million and a half, right? I'm assuming. And then both of the winners were from USA, right? And what does LPGA stand for, huh? Is that ladies PGA? Meaning LPGA golf meaning, right? Golf meaning. LPGA definition. Ladies Professional Golf Association. Okay, there you go. I think I will, yeah, not that I think, but I was right. Is an American organization for female golfers. All right. So some of the women were really, really good. And that's the first time I watched like, PGA scale kind of golf, live. And and then you could see how they were playing shots. Oh my God, you hit the ball and it makes this sound, right? And then it's gone. Out in the some of the out in into the fairway, right? Some of the holes were like as far as like 500 yards. That's long. But in any case, without turning my podcast into a golf, and so yesterday I went there, and then when I came back, I was so freaking tired, and I just lie down here, in my living room, and and then I realized that I slept, and then I woke up, and before I went to PGA yesterday, was that yesterday, or the day before? Oh no, day before was Saturday, right? So Saturday I got my breakfast and late, obviously, right? My brunch, eggs, and then I went to there's a food market in Jersey City that happens I think every Saturday. Not smorgasburg, but I think it's called the in Jersey City some market, right? And And so I went there, and they had some amazing barbecue, set up there. So I got the steak, you know. I didn't have that. I didn't have that there, but I brought it with me, and then that's what I had yesterday, and that's what I had. I just had for dinner. So I realized, and this is the freaking problem. I realized that I couldn't find my wallet, and here I am running around in the apartment, and then my wife is on the phone, and she's like, "What did you do with it? Where is it?" I'm like, "Well, I'm trying to figure out." And then I check in the car, it's not there, and I'm like, "Shit, you know what? Maybe I dropped it in the golf course, right?" So then I go there. I go to the pro shop up there. It's a nice, beautiful, building. Obviously, it's PGA scale, right? And the people there were nice, and then they were like, "Listen, nobody has turned a wallet." I told them I had that Ridge wallet. And then they took my number, and I'm like, "Listen, if I dropped it there, which I usually don't, if I have dropped it there, uh, on the golf course, obviously, the golf course is supposed to be clean, right? Nothing. You can't have anything unless it's like fall or something where you have leaves. Other than that, you're supposed to keep the golf course clean so players can see the balls, right? In any case, so I'm like, fuck, you know what? Maybe somebody, picked it up and then that's it, what the hell would they do with it, right? And then so I came back and then checked the car again, and then looked in the apartment again, and then I realized the fucking thing is actually in the corner right here, next to the couch. And I'm like, oh fuck. So basically I wasted like half an hour, 45 minutes. But in any case, so I went to the office and then my engineers were there and I told them what the story was. And and then I came and then, I just basically I got back on the computer and I was basically sending some invoices, blah blah blah, and then I just finished some work. Obviously, a lot of freaking deadlines, this week, and my wife is actually flying into the mountains tomorrow, which is actually today in Pakistan, right? So I gotta call her like in an hour, because right now it's 11 o'clock here, right? So there it's like 8 o'clock in the morning. And the poor lady, she I hope she gets some sleep, at least before she gets on the plane. But the plane is only like 1 hour, and then she'll get to the mountains, right, to her parents' house, and the same town, where I grew up and where she has grown up. And yeah, I miss her. But there's some good news. I don't want to tell you guys now, but let's see, right? I'm going to go there, in end of July. That's the plan, and I mean first week of August. So let's see, right? And what else is going on? Yeah. So I was like, I was worried about the freaking, wallet, and I'm like, I have all my credit cards there, debit cards, my license. But in any case, so here I am doing my podcast on this great Monday night, and what's new? Well, what's new is I don't know. I just still go back in the freaking past, and I don't know why I do that somehow, you know. And it's a tough thing, It's a tough thing, I think, to let go of like whatever, I had issues in my childhood, I think, what is it, childhood depression, sir, whatever you call it. But I mean, who doesn't have any of that, right? Every one of us had that growing up in mountains, especially. We didn't have anything. Uh, but all you out there who have kids, try to keep communication open between you and your kids. But that's very important, regardless of whatever uh, relationship you may have with your kids. Obviously, as a parent, you have to be there for them, give them your love and affection. And sometimes you have to tell them, hey, listen, you can't do this, cannot do that. And how about the smartphone, sir? Huh? How are you? How are parents doing with like giving or not giving their kids smartphones, right? Or any phones, which has internet and like at what age do you actually give? And for how long? A day or a week, huh? I don't know. I don't have any kids, so I can't say anything. And I guess when I have a kid, which I do want to, so does my wife. So then we will deal with it when we get there, right? Other than that, I think it's just plain simple, like old school parenting. I think that's what I like. And then in America, it's just it has become just tough, I think, now for both parents and kids. I believe, and that is that we have turned our society and everything else, especially with kids, into something more complex than necessary, right? I mean, especially here, if you're a kid, you should be a kid, all right? The hell am I saying? You're a kid, you should be a kid. Means, especially some parents and some other people, right? Peer pressure. I can imagine, like, let the kids have their own time of growing up naturally, all right? And then the worst part, I think the worst part is that some parents and some counselors and whatever the hell, right? They give these kids like these pills, right? SSRIs and all that. Oh, you take your kid to the doctor and they say, oh, he or she has some depression. So let's start off with like Zoloft, right? I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? They're kids. They're supposed to be depressed sometimes. This is how they're supposed to grow up. All right. They will cry sometime and they will laugh and then they will fall down and then they will clean the dirt off of their clothes and then move on, right? And that's what it should be, I think, old school. I mean, old school parenting with some new ideas, with new, whatever ideas you can get from the internet, right? And basically, you can use Chat GPT, right? And any question that you may have regarding your parenting that you need some sort of an answer on, and then here you go. The internet can give you all the answers you need. All right. All right. Well, I don't want to turn my podcast into kids and parenting, sort of relationship advice podcast, because I'm not, who the hell am I? I don't even have any kids to give advice like that to anyone. So what is going on, huh? It's June 6th, I mean 5th. So, it's already middle of the year 2023. And time is basically just passing by exponentially, as they say, right? As we grow older, time goes on faster and faster. So isn't it? So is that the curve of time with age? Is that exponential? Probably, right? So I mean, it's like remember when you were a kid. six or seven or eight or even 10, right? A whole year would be like fucking 10 years, you know? And the days would be so like, what do you call it, long, this and that, right? And so I realized that man, is this what it is that's how we actually come to the end of our lives, in a sense that we somehow are living towards like that closure in every one of us, our lives. Um, yeah, well, okay, let's not talk about it because, yeah, I mean, everybody fucking dies. I mean, so, I mean, what, you know? So let's talk about things which are important. Well, I'm not talking about any things important, I just am going to ramble as I always do, rant and ramble, and whatever else comes into my mind, right? I planning to actually this weekend. Oh, I have a dinner with my ex-colleagues this weekend, right? So I was thinking, and I was telling my wife that maybe since we are meeting somewhere up in Westchester, Rockland County, I was thinking maybe I should just take a break, right? After the dinner with them, maybe I should go up to one of the hikes, stay up there like Saturday and then do the hikes Sunday, right? A bit idea. But let's see, what is the weather for this weekend? Um, so weather right now is 66. Shit, it's kind of cold, isn't it, for June? So Saturday is actually 77 and Sunday is 80 degrees. That's the high, right? That's nice. Is there a weather to actually hike? Probably. So let's see. I mean, also depending on how I feel, etc., then I might go up there, right? And then other than that, just my life is just like freaking just be on the freaking, what do you call on the computer and just like work, which is good. But sometimes I get depressed. I'm like, what the hell am I doing all this for? And then I have to basically remind myself that, yeah, what am I doing this for? First of all, it's for myself, you know. And then now I have a partner, life partner, and for her, for both of us, I'm doing this, right? And so I have to like, yeah, keep reminding myself that, listen, man, now you are married, okay? You're not a single anymore. Don't be depressed too much. He will be here soon. Just be patient, And she tells me the same thing. Although, I don't have a lot of patience in my freaking, plethora of characteristics, right? Which I have to actually, I met this amazing woman, after years and years and years of like, solitude and this and that. And now I can screw this up. So relationships are difficult, and we have to realize that, you know, and compromise, man. Compromises are important. All right. If you want to be in a relationship, in a loving relationship with someone, then it's a give and take, right? It's a give and take. You have to give your part and take her or his part, right? Yeah, not all relationships are hunky and dory, and I have to say this just to remind myself that, hey man, listen, it's not a fucking perfect world, you know? And so just, you know, live your life. You live your life, the way you want to without causing noise and this and that, right? And, and just like, you gotta take it easy sometimes, you gotta take it easy a lot, which I do, I just basically work, every fucking day. Especially weekdays. Weekends, I try not to, although I was working yesterday and then, but that year, not yesterday, but day before Saturday, I went into a cafe as well. And then I got frustrated because I was trying to figure something out on AutoCAD and then it made me cry and like in the sense that, I mean, I've been doing this for 13 years, now actually 10 years, let's say, my own company. And I was just like, feeling this self pity that why I mean shouldn't this be done by my engineers, shouldn't I be managing, but then they are interns and I had to basically restart the whole ship after COVID, literally, sort of, right? And then I had to, I'm paying back the government debt, and I'm hoping there's a point in time the government may actually forgive that COVID debt, right? I don't know, for small businesses like us, which is not the case right now. So let's see, right? Let's see. Am I sounding like too freaking depressed? Do I sound depressed? I'm sorry. I apologize. I have to, I have to, and as much as I think every one of us, we have to focus on like the positive things in life, and yeah, you can't just like, turn your back and away from your own like like darkness and this and that, right? For me sometimes anger, and it's like, why? I mean, I grapple with this all the time, that why, I mean, why, what happened in my childhood, what the hell was that? Well, there's the speaker at my other computer. That why do I have this anger, and I mean, why, I mean, um I don't know. I don't know. I haven't figured out that freaking part. Just that I have to just live with this demon. I have, and many of us do. I think many of you may feel that way as well. So to do like the calming things. People say, "Oh, why don't you do meditation and all that?" But I think for me, I'm going to just maybe just buy like one of those like punching bags, right? Because I think what they say is that there are two things that actually help you. One is that if you do exercise, right? Exercise, you sweat and you make your body like, work, right? That actually helps with mental depression. It helps remove the depression, right? That's why they say that exercise is, it's like, what is it? Pheromones, whatever, those neurotransmitters, right? And And so that actually, I understand. I mean, somehow that can actually help you with depression, if you're sad and this and that, right? Because everything is basically based on our brain's neurochemistry, right? So if your brain is basically pumping a lot of dopamine, then you're going to be feeling good, right? And if not, low on dopamine and this and that, right? Then you may be depressed, whatever it is. And then what do? Take SSRI? No. Um, so, so that's one thing, right? So exercise. What's the other thing? Oh, so if you have anger issues, what they say is that you should actually just, buy like a punching bag and just punch the punching bag, and that actually takes out your whatever that freaking thing in your head, right, has been piling up in your subconsciousness over the years, whatever the fuck, or even whatever it was during, your childhood or whatever, right? Or maybe you were beaten up by whatever. I mean, who doesn't get beaten up in childhood? So I wasn't actually a lot, but I was at some point, but whatever, right? Not in childhood, but later years. But in any case, so not that I went to, I was basically out there punching people, but just that, we all go through events in life that affect us, the best thing is to just move on. Move on is it's an easy thing to say, but it's not an easy thing to do, because you always somehow your mind always takes you into the whole of subconscious, and you think about things. You think about all those people around you at that time, especially your immediate family, right? And then, and then for me, I think because maybe, because I haven't, you know, closed some chapter in my life. I don't know. Most likely it was, obviously, it's always, I think lack of relationship with my father at that time, and that just comes out, and I'm like, why wasn't I talking to him? And then why wasn't he, taking some time to ask me, hey man, why you not talking to me? What's wrong? What's going on? But in any case, so I mean that all that has happened in the past. So that just I have to put that behind. I have to put all that behind and just move on. And this has been one of the hardest things for me to do. And now therapy is not going to do anything. I mean, it's just that I have to acknowledge and say that, yeah, not every parent is a perfect parent or parenting. Again, what I was saying earlier. And that's why I keep saying that, all you parents out there, you should keep the communication line open with your kids, whatever age they are, especially like, early teen years. That's when, the kids that develop their whatever, their mental state, I think, up until you're like 17, 18. I think for guys, especially ladies, probably, I don't know, the same, more or less, right? But I mean, the human brain actually evolves, develops all the way up to we are about 25. All right. So that means that all you people out there, all you kids out there under the age of 25, you're going to make some life changing decision. Don't do it. You are too young to, make a decision like, oh, I'm going to get married. Okay. Take your time. Don't get married if you're 25 or under. All right. Well, then what we going to do, sir? Well, I mean, talk to people, yeah, talk to, I know, understand, like where I come from in the mountains, dating is not easy. But you can still, now everybody has a phone, talk to, talk, start a conversation, but you don't have to get married at the age of 25. I would say 28, about 28, 30, especially for guys. That's a good age to actually, get married. Uh, Although that even from a Western standpoint, that even is too young, like 28, I couldn't even like, no, I wasn't even like thinking about, even like getting married. Although, I mean, in the back of my mind, I was thinking I always wanted to have a girlfriend, right? And then it was not easy, New York is a tough place. It's like the crucible of dating, right? And then this is also now right after 9/11. And so yeah, it hasn't, it wasn't easy for me, and even lately, and then COVID and all that, right? I'm not going to like, okay, I'm not going to repeat myself, but you get my point, right? So Yeah, so don't get married if you are under 25. Take your time and take your time, but focus on your whatever your career, whatever it is. But the other thing I would say, if you ask me, like if there is in the 20s, right, you should also pursue some sort of a hobby, all right? Some sort of a hobby, such as a sports, right? I mean, if you really want to pursue sports, then you should do it even from an early age, right? Like this lady who actually won this cup, right? The LPGA. She's only 20. Can you believe that? She's only 20 and an amazing golf player, obviously. So that means that she probably started like at the age of 15, right? So in a competitive environment like that, right? Especially here in the US, golf is very competitive, because it's a lot of money involved and this and that. I mean, every sport has money involved, right? Every major sports, right? So I'm not saying that you all should basically take up golf. I mean, if you ask me, I think I should have started playing golf even right after, I came here and after I got my first job. I should have taken up that sports because I like golf, because it's it's kind of therapeutic in a sense that you're out there, it's kind of nature, green, blah blah blah, right? But I understand, I wish that, and I was telling my wife that I wish that we had golf course, like a golf course up in the mountains, right, where we come from, but that there's no land there, you know. We don't have anything. We didn't have anything, in the mountains of northern Pakistan, where I come from, or we come from, But and also I'm hearing that not that I'm hearing, but I saw it that I think the melting of the glaciers is having a very adverse effect on rivers and roads and the land there, because that land is very very susceptible to what do you call floods and this and that, and especially if it rains a lot. And then we have major glaciers. We have the second largest natural reserves of sweet water, next to our second to North Pole and South Pole. All right, that's where we have. So all you out there, this fucking planet in an apocalypse, right? When we run out of water, then you're gonna come to me. All right, I'm gonna sell you a gallon of water for what, gazillion dollars? Yeah. But it's a change that has happened even in my lifetime. I remember when we were growing up in the mountains, right? We used to get a lot of snow. I remember because we used to basically make our own, like, snow slides and sled and whatnot, right? And then all these ponds would basically just freeze, and then we would just, we would skate on these ponds because they would freeze, and you could just basically skate on the ice, right? Because ice would be like 6 inch thick. But that basically stopped happening, I think, because of global warming, whatever the hell it is, right? Most likely climate change or whatever, because that area is also at a higher altitude. So I think that actually affected that area earlier than I think any other areas on this planet. Is that what it is? I mean, I don't know. I mean, climate change is a very controversial and topic, and also it has become a religion for some of these people who are hijacking this term to basically hijacking the whole, they're kids. Most of them are kids, actually youngsters. They're actually hijacking politicians, countries, and this and that, which is not good. Because there's just emotional rent, all right? And my rent is not emotional. I have to always use some facts, all right? Facts, data, and this and that. And if you're telling me that New York is going to be underwater in 10 years, no, 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 no. All right, that's not going to happen. Uh, I don't want to really talk about my climate change, but I'm just saying that, where I come from, that area has a vulnerability because of the terrain, because of the terrain, and it's a very arid kind of like. If you go to some place like southwestern United States, right, Arizona, and that, yeah, that kind of climate, except that it's at a much higher altitude, right? Most of the villages are 6,000 feet, uh, or even higher, right? It's like, what is Denver? Mile high, mile high city. So um, I am looking forward to going there. I'll be there in August. And me and my wife, I think we have made some plans to visit, the surrounding like towns and stay there and do a lot of like hiking and, like nature, take it easy. And then just a lot of family time too, I think, cousins and old friends, So I'm looking forward to that. But it's just that I really enjoy golf there. I can play. Well, Islamabad, I can play golf in there in the capital city. Capital city there. Oh, you can play golf there, huh? Yeah. Um, but that's okay. For a month, if I don't play golf, I'm not gonna like go nuts, right? I think I'm gonna play. Speaking of which, again, without turning my podcast into golf, I'm gonna play this weekend. Sunday, I think most likely. If I don't go hiking, then I'm gonna play. And I'm going to invite one of the friends if he wants to play. Then I know in Jersey City, right? Uh, and I'm looking forward to this, like this summer, spending time with my wife, obviously, right? And family, and then just be out there hiking and blah blah blah, and just like, but then I also have a lot of like work, so that just like kind of makes me depressed that I get burnt, and maybe I'm just, and my wife, maybe she's right that I'm taking too much work, that I don't have the capability to deliver, then I shouldn't, because health and well-being obviously is important as work, and that should be actually the priority, right? She's right in a way, but then I can't just turn away my clients saying that, listen, man, I can't do this, especially if there's potential, So I had set up I had to set up another phone call or interview with another engineer intern, and for this week, and well, I'm going to bring him in, I think, depending on how the interview goes. But yeah, I mean, it's good to have work than not to have work, right? Be miserable. So it's okay. I can survive in a sense that, until my wife comes here, then I just that yeah, this is my routine, I'll go to work and then come home and then basically get back on the computer and that's it. It's a lonely world, sir. Nah, I mean, it is what it is. I again, I try to keep the weekends open so I can just relax and do something else. The biggest problem I think is in Western world, and I think I beat this topic to death, is that Western world is a very lonely world. It's very individualistic. I understand uh, that you can be with friends, or you can't. I mean, usually people don't have a lot of friends, and because They have a lot of expectations or whatever. People don't like them, or I don't. I mean, I basically, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like maybe I should hang out more with friends and this and that, right? But I don't know. Like people, maybe I'm just old, and I don't know. Maybe because I'm in New Jersey and just like, and most of the people from the mountains, they are in Queens, and I realize. Yeah, I know. Maybe I should hang out with them sometimes, but I don't know. I mean, everybody has their own schedules, and so especially in summer, a lot of traveling, and I kind of miss. Now I realize I kind of miss going to Colorado, but I guess instead of going to Colorado, I can just go to mountains where I grew up, and just do hiking there, like driving scenic roads and whatnot, right? Although some of those roads are like kind of like scary, right? But I've driven there during my marriage, and I was driving that Land Cruiser that I bought. I still have that in Islamabad, which I might actually take to the mountains when I go there, right? But let's see what happens. I bought another car for especially from mom in the mountains, But in any case, so without getting into those details, well, let's change the gears here. What's the state of affairs on this planet, huh? You human beings? Well, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, maybe I didn't get a chance to listen to news today, which I typically do when I'm in the office, right? But after 6 o'clock, no news. Forget all that. Now, crapola, of same shit repeating, right? Uh, then I obviously, excuse me, that freaking steak got stuck in my teeth. Um, then I would listen to, podcasts and mostly podcasts, I guess. And then, right after this, actually, I had to call my wife right after the podcast because she'll be going to the airport, and I wish that I was there and we could go together. But soon, a couple of months, I'll be there. Um, so she also needed a break, which is a good thing for her, so she can just take some time off, and be with her, her brother's families, her cousins, and blah blah blah. I think there's some marriages going on there too in her family, which is good. Um, am I running out of topics? Is that what it is? Or am I sounding too freaking like tired? Well, it's both, but is there anything that specifically I wanted to talk about on this podcast? Really? Um, no, not really. I think the affairs of this country, political affairs, which I don't want to actually really discuss on my podcast, but I would say this. Next year is a tough year for US of A, because things are a little shaky, things are a little shaky, and it's a lot of like tension, it's next year is the presidential, what do you call the election, right? 2024. I don't know. I'm just hoping that nothing blows up, and then and then guess what? Then army takes over the fucking country. I hope not. I'm just saying there's a possibility. Possibility, sure. No, I'm just saying that yeah, it's a lot of political tension, and it's people are like these fucking politicians, they have their own agenda, and people don't realize that left or right or whatever the fuck, right? You have to pick and choose. You have to fucking pick and choose because you cannot just be part of a tribe and say, oh, this is, whatever this tribe does, I'm going to just believe in that and I'm just going to do that or follow them. No, 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 no. Then you are basically just shunning yourself from actual reality. And that's why I don't take any fucking sides and, I listen to all sides and then, I make my own informed decision. For what, sir? Informed decision for what? Am I going to vote next year? I don't know. In the presidential elections, I don't know. We'll see. I'm not a big fan of voting and again politicians and this and that because I feel like politicians really don't do anything, honestly, because I think it's just like the offices, the technocrats, they run, everything is run by every department, I think, and and then so this is what I wanted to say. Oh, this whole thing with the fucking debt ceiling, right? So many of you, without sounding like a political commentator here, but many of you who uh, want to understand what the hell is debt ceiling and why every year it goes up is for obvious reasons. We spend more every year means so I mean, if you have a household, right, you realize your expenses, your phone bills, your TV bills, your groceries, your whatever, gas for the car, your rent, if you're renting, right, blah, blah, blah. And all that is spending is basically, you realize that it's actually more than what you're earning, right? So then what do you do? Don't you actually cut down on all those expenses and then try to match, your income and earning? No, that's not what we do in this fucking country. We just keep raising that ceiling means we borrow more money from whoever the fuck, right? China is actually bailing us out and maybe some other countries, right? So we just basically keep raising the debt ceiling. It's what is it now? Like $30 trillion is the debt, national debt. Oh my fucking god! So this is like in a layman term, this is what the freaking debt ceiling is. And instead of bringing it down, this is oh my freaking god. In any case, and where does it all that fucking money go, right? This is the stupidest thing you could ever do, whether it's your household or your country. This is fucking beyond. All right. Okay. So I just wanted to say that because it's just like, oh my God. I mean, yeah, sometimes I've done that, but then I realize, oh no, I can't do that, sir. I mean, where am I going to borrow the money from? All right. Okay. COVID happened, and that's where I got this money from the government, right? For my business. But I'm not going to borrow more money. I don't want to because it's like, there's going to be like fucking like this debt that I'm basically accumulating for my future generations if I have kids and blah blah blah. What the hell are they gonna say? Was this guy out of his fucking mind? Yeah, COVID was sort of like I made a little bit of excuse because I thought that the world was coming to an end, and then maybe I took it too far. But then COVID actually was real. Thanks to Fauci and all these other fucking people who basically killed all the businesses, right? And many people have gone under, which is not good. I almost went under, and and then I had to basically, um, tie my bootstraps and then say to myself, "Hey, man, you can't just like shut yourself from the rest of the world just because it's COVID. You gotta work, and you gotta earn, and you gotta pay the fucking bills." And I had two office rents, and I was going nuts because there was no fucking money. And in any case, all right. So that fucking dark past of COVID is over. because I think COVID was a fucking. It just became the whole. In any case, so I don't want to go on and on about this, but the point I'm trying to make is that this whole idea about government spending money, basically printing these dollar bills, right? These fucking whatever $100 bills or whatever, without even thinking. And these are our fucking politicians. Just imagine, they just want to spend. They just want to fucking spend without having any plan whatsoever to, fill up those fucking coffers of money. Huh? This is the fucking problem. Right? This is why the government is always a problem. It doesn't matter what country, right? There's always a fucking problem with the government, and the less government is better, I think, right? Just basic services from the government you need, and then other than that, no, no. Because like on my taxes, right? Okay, let's talk about my personal taxes. Okay, so I'm basically paying for everything myself, right? My healthcare, my food, everything, gas, everything. So I'm giving that money to the fucking government. Where does it go? I mean, I know where it goes, right? So it's the whole thing is just like, oh my God. If you get into that discussion, right? This is it's like opening a whole fucking can of worms, and I don't want to do that. All right. So, well, maybe you should move to Puerto Rico, sir. I don't know. Because you don't pay federal taxes there. I don't know. I can't move anywhere because this is where my business is. This is where my base is. All right. It's where my clientele is. So, what I can do is I just have to save money, man. That's what it is. Huh? Unfortunately, here in New York, New Jersey, this is one of the most expensive places to live in the whole fucking country. Everything is so expensive. Everything. Even if you go to your bagel shop, right? You get your breakfast, and even that costs you like a fucking, like even a coffee, like a small coffee, because that's what I usually get. One regular coffee a day. And, that costs you like $3. I'm like, holy shit. And and then what do? You move down to the south. But then, there's also, it's a matter of, the earnings, because you don't get a lot of earnings. You can get a nice apartment, 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom apartment for like half of the money that you pay here, right? But then in terms of your salary, you don't get a lot of salary that you do here, I think. So it's a trade-off, right? It's a freaking trade-off. But then I think the biggest thing that I have to consider is, for me, I think I'm just getting sick and tired of the fucking winter in New York. It's just too long and it's just too much. We got lucky this year because we didn't have any fucking snow. Just imagine snow and then freezing temperatures right after snow, and it's like, oh my God, it's like it's like hell froze, like hell froze upon the fucking planet in Northeast, right? And so I had to be serious about like at least do remote work from somewhere from the south, warmer place like Florida or one of those, right? Just stay down there for like 3 months. I don't know. I have to look at the logistics and all that, right? And I'm also waiting for my wife to be here so both of us can make that decision as to what we want to do, and etc etc, and I have to basically ease her into this culture here. I mean, she's very open-minded and obviously very educated, but it's a different culture. So it's not a matter of she's going to get like a culture shock, but she will have some of that, but I'm here. know. What else am I going to talk about? It's already 54 minutes, everyone. I guess I just, I didn't talk about the fucking aliens or any of those, right? Any of those rounds that I think I discussed last time. What the fuck I was talking about? Oh yeah, so I told you guys, there are no aliens here. I don't think so in these three dimensions. And without, again, repeating myself, so I think we should just live with whatever we have, right? Whatever, however we started, the life started itself and this and that, right? So, so I'm fine with it. I don't see a problem with it, and I think we can live our lives if we somehow focus a little bit on like what are the things, and this is what I wanted to say. What are the things that we should actually change in our lives that would make us a little more happy or happier, right? Or make our lives a little better, right? I'm not talking about like yeah, making more money. Yeah, of course, money is not the happiness, but money is a tool. It's a necessity, right? But other than that, okay, health-wise, obviously, if you have health problems, man, a woman out there, I'm sorry, I just, but yeah, health. If it's an issue with the health, then that becomes a priority, right? But there are things you can change in your life. Which choir are you preaching to, sir? Well, I'm not preaching to anyone in particular, but I'm just saying that because maybe again, you can't just be a frog in the pond and say that that's your world, that pond is your world. Sometimes you have to look beyond and also in your own mind think beyond that goddamn pond, right? And that fucking pond could be anything for you, your status quo of living, whatever, or, maybe you want to change the place where you're living. I don't know. That's a big change, obviously, but even small changes you can bring in your life. So what changes what's the first thing I should bring as far as a change in my life? I think I told you guys, I just said that just like I've been here in Northeast for like 20 years, actually 22 years now, right? And somehow I have to, like realize that I'm getting old and being out there in miserable and like 10 degrees snow and sleet and cold is it's not a fun thing anymore, right? Um, and then I think, obviously, I will be spending, me and my wife will also be spending time in Islamabad because Islamabad is not as cold as here in winter, especially, I think, because that's where our parents are. And oh, also our parents, I think we're gonna bring them here this year because they got the visas, visiting visas, so that's a good thing. Because they are old, they are old, no matter how like angry I may get at my father and this and that, right? They're old and they need a break too, they need a break and we just have to give them some time, some time, some happiness, whatever they want in their lives. And my mother, she's pretty much independent. She goes to mountains. She's in mountains right now. She takes care of the house and she does all kinds of like farming up there around the house. I think she's growing whatever, potatoes and other vegetables, and then we have these fruit trees, apricots, obviously the best apricots in the whole fucking world come from that region. Turkish apricot, no. um still, still she also needs some break. And this year we're gonna have to plan that because I'm traveling. And I was talking to my sister and see what she was saying. I don't know what her plan is, but I think we have to just make some plan for them to come here. And regardless of whatever, shortcomings and whatnot, from parenting and all that, they have done whatever they could for us, and it's not easy to raise six kids, you know, economically and otherwise, right? Without being sentimental, I'm sorry, it's already 1 hour. And so yeah, keep it up, everyone. Keep it up. If you are a parent, or even if you're not a parent, or whatever, just try to bring a small change in your life that makes your life better or makes you happier. Small things, small happinesses. That's what this life is all about. All right, you're not gonna win a jackpot, $1 million. All right, and that doesn't happen, and nobody should expect that. Um, but you can actually live a happier life if I, for example, I shouldn't say you, I should say I, if I see that I can, bring those changes in my life. And am I repeating myself at this time? I guess I am, but whatever, you got my point, right? So with that said, I will see you all next Monday or the weekend. What the hell is happened to the mouse?